Hello and welcome back to another Eureka Blu-ray update for 2025, a 4K UHD update exclusively. We have three new releases that have just come out in the past couple of months, and I wanted to talk about them. So the first one here is spine number 187 in the collection. It is The Old Dark House from 1932. Yes, my voice went that high. Directed by James Whale. The Old Dark House. I really love this artwork. It got a bit of flack when it was first announced. I think it looks like a kind of a vintage 30s movie poster. You got Boris Karloff there. This is a piece by Sarah Deck. I think it looks fantastic. So, this isn't my first experience with the film, and I wanted to show you the original release that came out a few years ago with a gorgeous piece of artwork by... It doesn't say... I think it's a Graham Humphreys piece, actually. Looks like it anyway, but we have the original Blu-ray release there. Very nice. And this is, I mean, this itself came from a 4K restoration, and obviously the the 4K version comes from the same 4K restoration. But we have this nice slipcover here, and on the inside we have that piece of artwork replicated, which is really nice. If anyone is a fan of it, so I thought that was pretty cool. And on the inside we get the booklet and the disc itself. A 4K only release. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. How Eureka's releases have tended to be 4K only, not dual format. So, The Old Dark House, I love this film so much. So much. It's so much fun. But it's one of my favorite horror films. I only saw it a year or two ago, I think maybe last year. It just knocked me dead. I mean, I just loved every single thing about it. It's not even that long. It's like an hour and 12 minutes. And it's about this group of people who are driving out in the country in Wales, actually, and their car breaks down, or they can't really get much further in the rain and the storm, and so they end up going to this old dark house that's nearby. And there's a weird family who live there, and I don't think I really know the name of the family. Does it say on the back here? The Femme family. I don't know if it's really mentioned that much in the film, but this family, I mean, they're weird. They're weird people, and there's a lot of like hesitancy and uncertainty from the people that they first meet in the house. And I love just the central, what do you call it, atrium, maybe? I don't know, but just the main part of the house where you see the staircase going up, and there's just a promise of more upstairs, you know. And there's this gorgeous part of the house which is just this hallway to the side. I just love the way that the geography is set out of the place. Like, if you're going to have a film that's called The Old Dark House, you better have like a nice sense of space for the audience of where everything is in this house as you begin to further unpeel the locations of it. And I feel like the film does that brilliantly. But that hallway from the side door and the curtains blowing in the wind, oh my god, it's just so atmospheric. And it's funny too, and it is listed on Wikipedia as like a horror comedy. I wouldn't call it a comedy, but it is very funny. But I love the creepy elements of it too. There's a moment where two of the characters go upstairs finally, and they open this door, and what you see beyond it is just like, what the... And it's not like it's crazy, but just the way it's shot, what you see is just, it's golden. Like, oh man, and there's some really great reveals as well, and Boris Karloff is incredible. The film opens with a title card saying a producer's note. The Karloff credited in this picture is the Karloff who plays the creation of Frankenstein in the recent Frankenstein film. They're basically saying, like, you won't recognize him, but it is him, and it's a testament to how great he is and how versatile he is that you won't recognize that it's him. Really weird thing to put at the beginning of the film, but I guess they really were kind of proud of his performance as Morgan in the film, who they're told to stay away from. But the whole cast is great. Charles Lawton appears at one point as another kind of person who ends up taking refuge in the house, and it's so much fun. Gloria Stewart, who I know from Titanic, who plays Rose, the older Rose in Titanic. And I think probably the best special feature on this is the fact that you get an audio commentary with Gloria Stewart herself. It's so weird because I grew up with her in that film, Titanic, and to kind of hear her voice as she was as an older woman talking about being in this movie. It was really strange to me, but I loved it. Like, it's just, there's so many great details about working with James Whale and Karloff and everything. It's a great special feature. So speaking of special features, there's no new ones. It's all ported over from the original MOC release. So we have a commentary by Kim Newman and Stephen Jones. I should really check that out because I've liked their commentaries on other horror releases that Eureka have done, like Maniacal Mayhem and what was the other one? Creeping Horror. Yeah, that was a good set as well. So I started to quite enjoy their commentaries on some old horror films. I'm definitely intrigued to check that one out. And then there's one by James Whale biographer James Curtis, an essay by David Cairns, an interview with Sarah Karloff, I should say. Archival interview with director Curtis Harrington focused on his efforts to save the old dark house that was then considered a lost film. Re-release trailer from 2018. And a new essay on the old dark house by Craig Ian Mann. So that's the lone new special feature of the piece, I guess, is that new essay. So I think I should comment on the transfer. It's my favorite of the three that I'm talking about in this video by far. Like, I just think there were times where I paused it and it was it was genuinely just beautiful. There's so much grain. It just looks like a gorgeous old photograph in the highest of quality, you know. I just think the transfer on this one was stellar. Like, whoever did it, I think it was Cohen did the 4K restoration of this one. Got the booklet there with Karloff. They just did a knockout job with the transfer, and it looks phenomenal in 4K. I'm so glad that they put this one out and re-released it in 4K, even though they were already released this film before. And it is something that Eureka have been doing quite a lot of, is putting out their older releases and putting them out in 4K. And I approve. It's nice to see a new one. I think the last new one that we got for the MOC range was... Well, actually, no, there's one that I'm about to talk about. But before that, it was... What is it called? Without looking down below my knee, where it is, on the shelf. The Valiant Ones by King Hu, which was a phenomenal release, actually. But there we go. The Old Dark House. Highly recommended. This transfer is beautiful, and the film is an absolute blast. Next up, we have Spine number 208 in the collection. It is a re-release of The Great High Noon by Fred Zinnemann from 1952. I really love this piece, actually, on the front. We had talked about it before, where people are griping that it wasn't a new piece of artwork, but it's from one of the European posters, I think. They have this on the menu as well, which looks gorgeous. Just the bold yellow, and you have Gary Cooper there with the guns. Very cool. So I've talked about it before. I'm not going to hop on about it. So this was the first one that I got to edit a video essay for. I will say, I popped this in the 4K player last night, actually, to check out the video essay I edited, because I haven't really watched any of them on disc yet. So I thought, okay, let's give it a watch. And within about 2 minutes, I noticed, like, that cut, you know, and it isn't a bad one. It isn't like a terrible mistake I made or anything, but there's this one cut where I thought, I probably shouldn't have done that, actually. And it bugged me. I just turned it off. I was like, oh my God. Like, it's a rabbit hole you don't want to go down sometimes. But, you know, it's a surreal thing for me still that I managed to fulfill that dream of contributing to one of these releases and to edit something. It was just really fun, a cool thing for me. So this will always be a special release for me, this one in particular. But the film itself, I mean, it couldn't have looked out for me any better, because this is just an incredible film. So I have the original release here, which is the special limited edition hard box set. Gorgeous front there. No title, just that kind of Western visual. And then the back, High Noon. I can't remember what the main artwork looks like. Oh, so on the booklet we have the the one that became the cover for the 4K eventually. Oh, this is a really nice one too, actually. So Gary Cooper and Gene Kelly. I mean, talk about a pairing of just, you know, really attractive leading stars for your movie. Although Gary Cooper was obviously in a more advanced stage of aging at the time. There's certainly a bit of an age gap between the two of them. But I mean, Grace Kelly is just beautiful and a great actress, and she's really good in the film. And there's, again, I got a comment on it, but there a bit more of these like sniffy comments on the forums about, oh, they've put on a video essay about feminism. Like, do we really need to be applying like modern woke politics to a film from 1952? And it's like, the word feminism, I believe, was in like an earlier draft of this script. It is absolutely a feminist film because the two female characters in it are very strong-willed and very much play very important parts in the film. They are not shrinking violets. They are not damsels in distress. So for the time period, it is really an outlier. And the video essay that I edited goes into that, and that was by J.E. Smith. And yeah, I that is one of the things I loved about it, was that that felt like, wow, this is a bit different. And also the hero of the film is not a just a kick-ass, just like take no names, just tough guy who kind of gets the job done. He is a guy who is about to retire from being the sheriff, and he's about to leave town, and he's got married to Grace Kelly. He's gonna retire and live out the rest of his days happily ever after without any conflict or drama or action. And then he finds out, just as he's handing in the sheriff's badge, that on the noon train is going to be Frank Miller, this criminal that he previously jailed, and he's back for revenge, and he's going to run roughshod over the whole town. And so, our hero decides that, well, he's going to stay in town, and he's going to deal with this. And then his wife is like, right, well, if you're not going to just leave and do the right thing, I'm leaving on that noon train. So everything is kind of forming, every part of the story is kind of moving towards this noon train. High noon as this train's coming into the station, and we're just frequently cutting back to the clock, and I just love the countdown of that, and the sheriff trying to round up kind of people to help him, and no one really wants to help him, and it's kind of, he's desperate and he's unsure of himself, and it just makes the whole film 1,000 times better than if he was just this badass who was so self-assured and capable. So for that reason, I think, and it's shot beautifully, and it's just and there's it's just some really great moments visually that I loved. So for me, it's like a revelation, because I'm not really the biggest Western fan, but I think now I have to kind of say I'm kind of becoming a fan of Westerns, because I've seen a lot of really good ones in recent memory, like The Sons of Great Bear, the East German Western that I really enjoyed, but this one is like a masterpiece in my opinion. 40 Guns I watched recently and absolutely love that one, so kind of becoming a Westerns fan. 4K looked great, I thought, really just beautiful image. A bit more inconsistent, I would say, like here and there it is a bit soft, and sometimes that happens in 4K because you're really getting like all the detail from that film, to the point where, yeah, some shots are just out of focus a little bit, and that is more noticeable when you go to that kind of level of quality in 4K. But with The Old Dark House, I thought that was really consistently gorgeous. This one, it goes up and down a little bit, but mostly it's just a phenomenal image. Like, it just looks incredible. And the extras are really great too. We have an audio commentary with Glenn Frankel, who was an author of the book High Noon, The Hollywood Blacklist, and The Making of an American Classic. Another commentary by Stephen Prince, the aforementioned video essay Women of the West, and then all of the archival extras that have appeared on the previous release as well, like interview with Neil Sinyard, who's an author of a book on Fred Zinnemann, the director. Audio interview with the writer Carl Foreman from 1969. The Making of High Noon, a documentary on the making of the film. One of these has Leonard Maltin in it, if I remember correctly. Inside High Noon, Behind High Noon, 2 video pieces on the making and the context of the film, theatrical trailer, the booklet, the whole 9 yards. It's a great release, a great upgrade as well, and obviously for me, one that's quite special, so good stuff. And then we move to the latest 4K entry into the Eureka Masters of Cinema series collection. I was worried about this one. From 2001, spine number 322, in glorious 4K, every bloody detail on full display, we have Trouble Every Day by Claire Denis. Yeah, about that. I was kind of worried about this one, and maybe for good reason. Interesting to note, we've talked about this over the years. These hard box releases, I'll leave them for free. Typically, they have kind of the nice artwork on the front and the spine, and on the back it's just blank. And I've always felt like there should be something there. And in recent memory, with like the new artwork for stuff like the Dr. Mabuse set and the Strange New World science fiction box set, the artwork is wrapped around beautifully onto the back. This one, interestingly, has the title of the film and a kind of a bit of copy on the back talking about the film itself. Not all the extras, but at least something. And I like that. And obviously you get the backing slip, as they tend to include on these hard box sets, that has the same copy but with all of the extras as well, all the information about the transfer and all that, which I guess I should take a quick look at. Is a 4K restoration presented in Dolby Vision. So, and the artwork is by Ash Weaver Williams. Yeah. So, I'm going to do a full video about this because I have a lot to say about it. I didn't hate it, but I don't think I liked it either. So this is classed as part of the French, is it the French New Extremity or New French Extremity? I'm not entirely. I mean, it should say on the back actually. It'll give me a more New French Extremity movement. It later became known as that. There's actually a discussion on the origin of that term on the interview on the disc. Where do I even begin? So this is about two couples essentially. One is a French couple, another is an American couple who have just arrived in Paris for their honeymoon. And the husband of this new couple is played by Vincent Gallo, who's an interesting figure, to say the least. And he has these desires, these kind of unnatural desires. The French couple follows a doctor and his wife who has similar desires to Vincent Gallo. And this desire manifests itself in, shall we say, cannibalistic ways. Yeah, this is rated 18, and I can only assume it says Y on the back, and there should be a little strong bloody violence, strong sex. Yes. Maybe it should have been combined to say strong bloody violent sex, because that is very much what you get in Trouble Every Day. Now, I can't deny it's been in my thoughts, and it stuck with me. And there's more to say about this film in a separate video, I think. But the 4K looked great. Not necessarily sure I wanted to see that much detail in some of the gorier moments. Here's the thing, I'm kind of squeamish. And this has biting and flesh tearing and blood and all this sorts of stuff. But what really got under my skin, no pun intended, is that the film is made very naturally. There's a naturalistic feeling to it. It's grounded in a realism. There's no dreaminess to it, and it almost feels like well. There's kind of actually a couple of dream, not sequences, but dream visions of sorts. But apart from that, it's played right down the middle. And so when you see someone biting another human, and there's blood, and there's bits of flaps of skin, it feels so like just invasive. And I don't know, I mean, I've seen gorier stuff that hasn't bothered me as much because of the tone of the film. And the tone of this film is like, it's serious. To quote James Rolfe, dead fucking serious. And so that made it all the more like palpable and like uncomfortable to me. Yeah, I'm torn on it. I am torn on the film. Again, no pun intended, because the flesh does get torn in this film. So let's take a look on the inside here. We have the regular case, and I don't know if I'd even be able to show any of because I was looking at, there's like some art cards on the inside, and at least two of them I'd say are not YouTube friendly, to say the least. But we have the 4K case here, which shows you the female. You could call her a vampire in a sense, and there does seem to be some sort of debate over whether you could call it a vampire film. I could kind of see it, but I don't feel like it's played that much as a vampire film. but I can see the kind of the angle, so to speak. But unlike the other 4K releases, I believe that Eureka have done up until now, this one is actually a dual format. So you get the 4K disc here, and the art cards over here, and then you have the regular Blu-ray as well, which I feel like is something people have been kind of clamoring for, is to have that kind of dual format release. So I don't know why that decision was made, but in general, I hope it's something that they employ moving forward. There was also a standard release that came out with this as well at the same time it launched, and it's the same as this. It just has the kind of the clear case, just like your regular old Blu-ray, which is interesting because I feel like it's been years now since just a new release in the MOC collection has come out without a slipcover, so that's kind of in a way the first one, I think, because even when they did two releases of the Valiant ones, one in 4K, one in normal Blu-ray, they both had their own slipcovers with variants, color designs on them. And then we have a nice booklet as well, which I haven't read. I've gone through a lot of the extras, but I haven't delved into the booklet yet. Let me try and find a suitable for YouTube. I mean, this kind of is, but it's also a guy cutting into some brains, so maybe not. Okay, so we have Vincent Gallo here and his wife in the film, who I should find her name actually, because I want to give her credit here. And I'll briefly just wrap up with why I think it's good as well. So Trisha Vesey plays June, and Beatrice Dahl plays Corey, the kind of the central female figure of the film, I would say. But June, played by Trisha Vesey, she gives a really great performance, and I feel like it might get overlooked by some people because she isn't one of the characters who's going around kind of tearing flesh. And I say that the film isn't really chock full of that stuff. That's another thing I think the film does really well, actually, is it's more about the build-up. And the whole film, I think, has such an air of discomfort to it, which I think was really effective. And I will say, for a good majority of the film, I was really drawn into the mystery of it as well, because you don't know these things going in, from the jump. It kind of unfolds, or who's this mysterious woman, who's that man who's like helping her with the corpse of this man that she's just devoured and killed. Is this a guy who's making her do these things? Is he helping her through it? And then you find out that they're together and stuff. I like how it slowly unfolded, but the problem I have with extreme cinema sometimes is that it's excess for the sake of it. And while I didn't love the violence in the film, I suppose, especially the final scene, which is so difficult to watch, and there's other reasons I found this film uncomfortable that I don't want to get into, but the thing that I found made this not easy to watch, I kind of find my words here, but the thing that I found made this not a complete dud, the way that I feel like it has some worth to it, unlike a film like Salo, or In the Realm of the Senses, we talked about this before, like, I just find, like, gutter films, like, I just feel like there's no substance there. There's no characters to kind of latch onto and to follow, because they're just people who do bad things, and then there's just people who have bad things done to them, and there's no kind of substance there. And with the victims in this film, there is a bit to their characters. They are a bit one-dimensional, but there is something there. And then our lead characters, they have conflict. They aren't people who kind of they crave blood, and they crave blood in a sexual way, and they enjoy it, and then that's it, and that's the way that they live their lives. They live their lives conflicted by this feeling that they have, particularly Vincent Gallo's character, who is like actively, desperately trying to find a way to cure himself of these urges. But so that for me made it much different than something that I may have seen before, where it just felt like an exercise in excess. So it's a bit more artfully done than that, but it wasn't something I loved, and it was something I felt a bit kind of, I don't know, unsettled by. But I suppose that's kind of the point. Was it Simon Pegg who was saying it recently, that entertainment is an overrated function of art? Sometimes the point is to be uncomfortable, So I'm almost frustrated by the fact that I don't hate the film because I really thought I would, and I didn't. But would I recommend it? I don't know. You know? And you know, we'll get into that in my main video about this. But you know, it begs the question: am I going to get pushed to the point soon with these new releases of the new French extremity movement? Am I going to get pushed to the point where there's going to be something in the collection that I love so much that I really hate? And at least with this one, I would say no. But I'm really, really uncertain about Martyrs, which comes out in a couple of months. So that'll be a journey unto itself. Anyway, these have been the three 4K releases of recent memory. And yeah, let me know your thoughts on this one if you have any. Because I looked on Letterboxd just to get kind of a feel. The people who I follow, it's either hated it, loved it. You know, it's just like, it's a divisive film, and I can see why. But I'm still drawn to it somehow. I don't know. I don't want to say I really liked it, but I didn't hate it, which isn't a great seal of approval. But anyway, that's Trouble Every Day. And thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.